Imagine someone standing on a branch, sawing it off, oblivious to the fact that that branch is the only thing holding them up. That's atheism. It borrows the tools of logic, morality, science, and meaning from theism, then tries to use those same tools to argue against God. But here's the problem. Without God, these tools don't work. They lose their grounding. They become incoherent. Today, I want to walk you through 6 foundational features of reality, things that we rely on every day, and show you why atheism cannot account for any of them. Only theism makes sense of the world as we know it. If atheism is true, then your thoughts are just chemical reactions, neurons firing in your brain. But if that's all they are, then why would you trust them? Why would you believe that your logic leads to truth rather than just to survival? We don't live like that. We debate, we analyze, and we seek truth. That only makes sense if our minds were designed by a rational creator. Reason isn't just a tool, it's evidence, and atheism can't explain why it works. Reason presupposes design, theism provides it. Secondly, we have morality. We all know some things are truly wrong, such as murder and genocide. Not just unpopular, not just illegal, wrong. But if atheism is true, morality is just a social construct. There is no ultimate standard, just preferences. Yet we don't treat morality that way. We fight for justice, we condemn evil, we say this should never happen. That only makes sense if there's a moral lawgiver. Without God, morality is just noise. With God, it's a compass. Real morality demands a real source. Next, we have evil. The problem atheists are often asked, if God is good, why is there evil? But here's the twist. If there's no God, then there's no objective good, and therefore no objective evil. Calling something evil assumes a standard of good. But where did that standard come from? Not evolution, not society. It has to come from above. So when atheists invoke evil, they're actually borrowing from theism. The problem with evil isn't a challenge to God, it's actually a clue that he's real. Evil only makes sense if good is real, and good only makes sense if God is. Next, we have science. Science depends on assumptions that the universe is orderly, that laws are consistent, and that our minds can understand them. But why should any of that be true in a random, purposeless universe? If atheism is right, then there's no reason to expect order, no reason to trust our minds. Yet science works, it thrives. Why? Because the universe was made by a rational creator. Historically, science was born in Christian cultures for a reason. Theism explains why science works. Atheism just presupposes it and then uses it. Science is the child of theism, not theism's replacement. Next, we have DNA. DNA isn't just a molecule, it's a code, a 4-letter alphabet that writes the instructions for life. And whenever we see code, books, software, blueprints, we know that it came from intelligence. So why would we think that the most complex code in the universe came from chance? Atheism has no answer for the origin of information, but theism does. In the beginning was the Word. Information points to intelligence, and intelligence points to God. Next, we have causality. The universe had a beginning. That's not just theology, it's physics. Big Bang, entropy, and the cosmic expansion all point to a finite past. But if the universe began, it must have a cause. And that cause must be outside space, time, and matter because it created space, time, and matter. It must be powerful, eternal, and intelligent. That sounds a lot like God. Atheism can't explain why there is something rather than nothing. Theism can. Every effect has a cause. The universe is no exception. So let's go back to that image. The person sawing off the branch they're sitting on. Atheism tries to use reason, morality, science, information, evil, and causality to argue against God. But each of those things only makes sense if God exists. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And the YouTube algorithm thinks you might like these videos, so why don't you check those out.